What it do, everybody? You already know what it is. It's your boy Ty G. We back in the building. We getting straight back into it today. I just want to say my thoughts and prayers go out to whoever's watching this. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know what it is. We dropping some more gems and we getting straight back into it. And the topic today is we have to let Humpty Dumpty fall. And you may be like, what am I talking about? What I mean by that is when you think about the old children's tale where Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. We have people that are in our lives that we continue to give advice to, but they don't tend to listen to it. So sometimes you have to let them fall. And we hear it so many times throughout our lives, but we still kind of have that stumbling block where we give our energy to other people who are around us, whether that may be friends, whether that may be family members, whether that may be acquaintances or coworkers, whoever that may be, and they don't listen to you. And then when they get their hand burnt, they come back to you. It's just like when you're a kid and your parents tell you not to do something. Don't touch the iron. Don't touch the pot while it's cooking. Don't do this, don't do that. And you need to get your hand burned, get that hand burned. And then after that, you learn that response to stop. But sometimes there's people who they might get their hand burned and they go back to touch it again and again. And you know, what's an example for a lot of us is when we have friends or family members who, especially friends who may have romantic partners that, you know, they dated, maybe the relationship wasn't the best, maybe it was toxic. And then they tell you all the things that went wrong in the relationship. Oh, I don't like this person because of this. I don't like this person because of that. I don't like them because of this happened, that happened. They just weren't the right partner for me. And then they go ahead and they go back to the person. They continue to go back, continue to go back, continue to go back. It's almost like they're a drug for them, right? Same thing goes for those of us who, it may not be relationships. It may be that group of friends, right? It may not be that group of friends. It may be that substance. And some people, they say, oh, it's so hard. You know, I care so much for that person, but you can't want it more than they do. You have to let them fall. And I started to realize this more and more as I go through my life, as there's times where you can tell somebody something and you know it's right, but you don't know the feeling that they might get from that relationship, what that they might get from that environment or the substance. You don't know the sort of relationship that they built around it. So behind closed doors, they think it's okay. But then out in public, they're going to tell you what's wrong about it. Oh, I don't like this person because of this. I don't like this person because of that. You might have a friend who tells you they're going to go do something. They might go on a trip. They might be going somewhere. They might be doing something that you think is unsafe. And you give them advice and say, hey, I don't think that's the best idea. And they're not going to learn until something tragic happens. They're not going to learn until a consequence happens. You know, I had a boxing coach, absolutely phenomenal guy. Back in high school, he told me people learn from consequences. We tend to learn from our consequences, don't we? We remember the times where we got in trouble. We remember the times that we did things and we got into the worst amount of trouble. We had the worst consequences because that has weight, right? Because if you never got in trouble and there was never a consequence, you'd be doing the same thing over and over and over again. And for certain people, they haven't had that consequence and they need to have that great fall. They need to be like Humpty Dumpty. And it doesn't always have to be bad things. There could be things where people could be, you know, moving on to the next steps of their life and you could tell them, hey, you know, you should slow down. I think you should look at this and that. Whether, let's say it's somebody moving into an apartment, whether it's somebody making the next steps in their relationship, whether that may be even somebody going to a new job or leaving their job, you might tell them to slow down. You might tell them to, have you thought about all your options? Have you thought about this? And you try to give them some really thought-provoking, and not only thought-provoking, but some very insightful advice, and they don't listen to you. And then they take the wrong steps and they fall. And then they're going to call you back and say, hey, you know, you were right. I should have listened to you. I was wrong. But it's not our job to say, I told you so. It's our job to say, I was really looking out for you and I had the best interest for you. I wanted the best for you. That's why I sat down. That's why I gave my 2 cents. And it wasn't my opinion to say that I'm right. It was my opinion because I want what's best for you. And I have gone through some things maybe in that certain circumstance, it might not be exactly like yours. So here's what I would have did different. Here's what I would have did different when I left my job. Here's what I would have did different after my relationship with this person. Here's what I would have did different when trying to move into this apartment. But at the end of the day, it's not your job to make them listen to you. It's your job to almost just say, hey, I'm giving you this information. You do with it as you will. Just like college professors say. You come to my class, you come to my lecture, and I give you the information for the exam. You do with it as you please. But it's not my job to help you pass the exam. I have the best interest in you for you to pass, because I don't bring joy in failing someone. But it's up to you if you're going to take my advice and you're going to go forward and actually progress to passing, or it's up to yourself if you're not going to pay attention and use the insightful knowledge, and not only that, the actual advice that I'm giving you to help you grow and lead you down the right path. But at the end of the day, there's always those people who need to burn their hand. There's always those people who need to touch the iron. I've done it. You've done it too. We've all done it. We all touched the iron. We all burnt our hand. Are you going to keep going back to continue to touch it? Are you going to touch it again? Because there's only so many times where somebody's going to tell you not to touch it before they just say, well, all right, I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do. I'm not even going to waste my breath. I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm not going to say anything. Just when it happens and you come to me, I'm going to just, it's what you wanted. That's what you wanted, right? You wanted to go back to that person. You wanted to go take these next steps. You wanted to do this, and you didn't want to take any advice, although you came to me and you told me about it, and I said, I'm happy for you and I want the best for you. So here is the advice that I'm giving to you. And for so many of us, it almost annoys us. It irks us, because it's like, what? How does this person not see? Can't they see I'm really looking out for them? I really want the best for them. I'm trying to tell them that this is the right way to go about this. But it's not our life. We can't force them to take the steps. All we could do is give them the playbook, right? Just like a coach. Here's what I saw work. Here's what didn't work. Here's why I think you shouldn't do this, and here's why if you want to do it, go ahead. But you can't come back to me and expect me to almost coddle you and almost be okay with this, because I had to let you fall, right? Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. I had to let you fall. I had to let you fail. I had to let you do this. You had to go through that consequence. And this is why I relate back to my boxing coach in high school. What did he say? You learn from consequences. You know what's the consequence of you dropping your hand? You getting punched in your face. You know what's the consequence of you not bringing your hand back to your face? You getting punched in your face. You know what's the consequence of you turning your back on your opponent? You not knowing where they're coming from and you getting punched, whether in your face or your body, but you don't see it. You know what's the consequence of you not doing conditioning? You're tired in sparring. And it sounds so simple when I just put it in sports, but for so many of us, what's the consequence of you going back to your ex? You're living off the nostalgia. You're living off the memories, right? But now you're building up more trauma. Especially for those of you who you might break up with a partner and you guys speak badly about each other to your friends, your family, and then you get back with them and you expect your family to be okay with it and you expect your friends to be okay with it. How? If we have respect for you and we love you and you do it, how? How? When you leave a job before having another job, and we say, well, you should look, have another opportunity, lined up. It might be better. Or if you have a side hustle and it's making some money, maybe that's better. And you want to leave it. And then you say, whoa, I didn't know the job market was this hard. I didn't know it was this tough to get a job. I didn't know, it's this competitive. And we tried to warn you. We tried. But you didn't want to listen. And same thing goes for whatever else in life that you're trying to do. Hey, I'm thinking about starting this business idea with this person. Well, I don't know if you should start with this person because, they have a little bit of shady past. I don't know if that's the best. What do you know about the endeavor that you're going on? Well, they told me I could make this much money and this quick and this, that. You might get swindled out of some money. Well, I tried to warn you. And this is why I say this is such an important topic for us, because there's so many relationships and circumstances that are in our relationships that are intertwined in our life that people might speak to us about, especially in their lives, where we feel the need to chime in, and they ask for our advice because they might come to you as somebody who they love, as somebody who they respect, and you might give them something that's very insightful, but it's their choice to listen to it. It's not our job to force them to listen to it. So don't take it to heart. Don't get upset. Don't be mad. Let Humpty Dumpty fall. There's a reason why that story was there, right? It's a deeper meaning. You got a friend who's sitting way up on the top of that wall, doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and you've warned them about it. But when they have that great fall and the consequences hit them, they will know. But it's your job to stay by them and be with them through that. I know it may not be easy. I know it may be annoying. I know you may feel like, oh, they're not listening to me. But everybody needs to learn how to be patient, because we are all not perfect. When you have kids and you're telling your kids something and they don't want to listen and they're being stubborn and they're naive, we were once in their shoes. There's a reason why, right? It all comes full circle at the end of the day. But there's a reason why we learn these stories when we're younger, because we see them in our life, right? In the book of James, it talks about when you turn a brother or a sister away from sin, you've saved that person's life, right? You brought them closer to God. We see that in the book of James, chapter 5, verses 19 through 20. We can only bring them closer, right? It's their job at the end of the day if they want to do it. But all right, y'all, I appreciate you tapping with the YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, follow the gram, tap in, and whatever you got to do. I'm going to get up out of here. We're going to keep dropping gems. I'm out.